Strategic thinking and strategic planning are often used interchangeably, but they are not the same thing. This lesson will help you understand the key differences between them and why both are essential in leadership roles. By the end, you'll be able to distinguish between the two and know when to apply each approach effectively. Whether you're managing a project, leading a team, or shaping a long-term vision, using the right mindset at the right time can make all the difference. Let's begin with strategic thinking. Strategic thinking is more about mindset than process. It involves looking at the big picture, anticipating challenges and opportunities, and thinking creatively about how to position your organization or team for success. It's proactive, flexible, and often unstructured. Think of it as your mental agility in a complex world, like a chess player visualizing moves several steps ahead. Now contrast that with strategic planning. Strategic planning is a structured, formal process. It typically includes timelines, resource allocation, and performance targets. It's about setting goals and creating an actionable roadmap to achieve them. If strategic thinking is the blueprint, strategic planning is the construction schedule. It brings structure and execution to the ideas born from strategic insight. Consider this analogy. If you imagine launching a new product, strategic thinking would involve asking what unmet customer needs exist, or how might this disrupt the market? You're exploring possibilities. Strategic planning then answers, what's our launch date? Which teams are involved? And what's our promotional budget? You're making it happen. A key difference is orientation. Strategic thinking is often outward-focused and long-term. It considers trends, shifts in competition, and new technologies. Strategic planning tends to look inward, asking, what can we realistically execute with our current resources? Strategic thinking challenges assumptions. Planning organizes tasks. Timing is another distinction. Strategic thinking is iterative. It can happen at any time, especially in response to change or uncertainty. Planning, however, often follows a set cycle: quarterly reviews, annual plans, or board presentations. In fast-moving environments, strategic thinking helps you adapt when rigid plans may no longer apply. Leaders need both skills, but failing to separate them can lead to problems. An organization focused only on planning may be efficient but slow to adapt. One that only thinks strategically might generate great ideas, but fail to follow through. The most successful leaders blend both approaches in the right proportion. There's also a difference in who usually practices each. Strategic thinking is typically encouraged at senior levels or among innovators, visionaries who shape direction. Strategic planning is often the responsibility of operational managers who translate vision into clear steps, but ideally, both should be present across all levels. Let's revisit a common workplace situation. A management team notices declining customer engagement. A strategically minded leader asks, what's changing about our customer base? Or which competitors are gaining ground? In contrast, a purely planning-focused response might be, let's add a reminder email into our marketing calendar. One explores causes and patterns, the other acts on the symptom. Strategic thinking is also vital in times of ambiguity. When data is incomplete or change is constant, a well-laid plan can quickly become obsolete. But strategic thinking allows for adaptation. It's like adjusting your route mid-journey due to traffic or weather conditions, without losing sight of your final destination. It's helpful to think of strategic thinking as zooming out. You're looking at patterns, relationships, and future scenarios. Strategic planning, meanwhile, is zooming in, prioritizing tasks, assigning roles, and tracking results. Both perspectives are needed to stay balanced and effective over time. Another way they differ is in time frame. Strategic thinking might examine potential outcomes 3, 5, or even 10 years out. Planning usually focuses on the next quarter, the fiscal year, or upcoming milestones. The thinking informs the planning, and the planning helps realize the thinking. So how do you develop a strategic thinking mindset? Start by asking why, more often than how. Dive into market trends, analyze competitor behavior, or consider social and technological shifts. Make time for reflection or scenario modeling before jumping into task lists or solutions. Organizations that cultivate both capabilities often outperform those that don't. Companies like Amazon constantly think strategically, exploring emerging technologies and customer preferences, while maintaining tight planning processes to execute at scale. The integration creates a sustainable competitive edge. Of course, strategic planning has its strengths too. It brings discipline, structure, and accountability to strategy. It helps teams align and measure progress. But without strategic thinking, the plan risks becoming a rigid checklist, detached from the evolving environment. One final point. Strategic thinking is increasingly expected not just from senior leaders, but from managers and team leads. As complexity grows, organizations rely on more distributed decision-making. Teaching teams to think strategically, even if they don't control planning decisions, enhances agility and responsiveness. To wrap up, strategic thinking and strategic planning serve different but complementary roles. Thinking generates ideas, challenges assumptions, and prepares for change. Planning turns those insights into actions, resources, and measurable goals. As a leader or aspiring leader, your power lies in knowing when to think, when to plan, and how to move fluidly between the two. In our next lesson, we'll break down the key elements that fuel strong strategy overall, concepts like vision, objectives, and competitive advantage.